Listen to the Healing Guides podcast with Hannah or Marian Abdullahi, which is my real name, on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcast. So this is a really short message. I hope you can hear me very well. So obviously, one of the signs that obviously there's something evil out there, and that therefore there's evil humans. You already know, as long as you've lived long enough to notice that there's evil humans in our world. But still, they're not operating alone, obviously, which is why sometimes human beings don't know how to stop certain types of crime, etc., because there's demonic behind it. And unless you understand what the demons want, who corrupted that human and turned them into whatever criminal they are, etc., whether that criminality is recognized legally as a criminal character, or is a criminal in the eyes of God, but society doesn't necessarily consider them a criminal, etc., such as these human beings right now that this subject is about, where they just go usually to religions of other rather than their own, right? They go to religious institutions that are not their own, right? So let's say they're Muslim, they're going to go to church. If they're Christian, then they're going to go to Muslim, like that, or vice versa. Or if they're a Jew, they're going to go to like either of the other two groups I just mentioned, or Hindus. So, right? Violence, whether it's murder, whether it's another act of violence, but it's also perversion, such as rape, criminal, all that stuff. You know what happens in this world. The higher level of evil, which is anything you do to endanger the body, objectify the body, and people actually lose their life, etc., or their honor. But those are, just what you would call a crime, right? They're individual. That human is evil, so they just go kill. Okay, then the best you can do is to make your society more civilized, more safe, right? You give people ways to always call someone, right? Like an easy way to connect with those who stop it. And they call, right, when they already notice something strange, or right when it's about to happen. And humans just over time learn to prevent it. And things just get better over time. That's how a country becomes civilized, or a city, etc. But again, you're going to notice a lot of noise when I record. That's demonic harassment. So this is the one really where you have to understand whatever made that human evil, what they want, in order to not fall. Do you see the noise? In order to not fall into their trap. Because this one, you don't want to see it as individual, because it's not individual. Which is when a human being is killing others or attacking others in their place of worship. Like there's a lot of videos right now that I just saw, for example, where this male, I don't know what religion he identified himself with. It doesn't matter. You get me? Evil human is just evil human. But, I'm trying to show you basically what this type of evil is, right? Whatever religion he identifies himself with, I didn't really check. But he went to a church and stabbed a preacher as he was still talking, or bishop, actually, not a preacher. So that's, right, obviously what you call a crime, right? Stabbing, killing. Okay, but this is specific, right? They're not targeting this individual when he's just out and about in the city, correct? Because then you would just call that murder, stabbing, etc. Why is it when the person is in their actual place of worship? Because these are demons who their job is to instill some sort of war between those two religious groups, or between those two racial groups. You get me? They're looking at a certain demographic. They pick someone, a human being from a different group, whatever demographic they belong to, whether this time is religion or ethnicity or race. They bring them to people who are different than them, and they make that one human versus a whole group commit a crime against this other group. Just an individual usually, or maybe the whole group. They bomb the whole place maybe. See how the noise is just getting worse and worse and worse. This is what I go through. There are many episodes where I always stop my audio recording and I let the noises pass, but I've been guided by God to see that that's wrong. I should let you hear the amount of extreme noise happening around me. All of a sudden, when I start recording and talking about anything that's exposing demonic spirits, because these human beings are possessed by demonic spirits and they're torturing my environment with extreme noise or criminal conduct, such as trying to come behind me to assault me when they think I'm distracted. A lot of weird stuff will happen around me. So I should let you hear it, whatever you can, you know? You can't see it, which would have been better, but I don't want to be in a position where I'm putting my phone up and recording human beings all day. You know what? That's not healthy. There'll be other ways to prove that I've been persecuted when the time is right. So the goal of the demons, right, in that human who came and went into that church and stabbed this bishop, it's in Sydney, Australia right now, I think. Right, they've obviously done something like this before, right? A Muslim might have done it one time. One who, you know, is a Jew might have done that one time to Muslims. One who's a Christian might have done that. You get me? Obviously, an evil human from every religious group comes and does that, right? To others, obviously. But humans sadly keep falling into the trap, you know? You might think the trap is that the demons want you to obviously hate the religion and the people in the religion of the human who did the crime. I mean, yeah, you kind of already get the point, right? That's why they call it terror attack. You know, they don't just consider it just a, right? The regular terminology is used for crime, like a stabbing. They don't just call it stabbing only. They call it terror, right? Because that is terror. You are trying to instill fear in a specific group of human beings, right? That are usually different than you. By going into their place, you're different, and then you're doing something very violent to them usually, rather than, you know, verbal. And then, right, obviously in that conduct, you're hoping that they become afraid of your people as a whole, even though human beings are individuals and your people are not responsible for your crime. That's the hope of this criminal. That's the intention or the hope of the demonic spirits behind this criminal. So humans are not stupid when they actually sort of associate, right, that human, their sort of religion to the criminal. What they're doing wrong, though, is exactly when you also commit evil yourself, which then makes you no different than that criminal, and you go to their people and abuse them. That's when you failed to be just or correct. You're no longer a victim now. You're also a predator. You're also a terror. So there's nothing wrong with seeing the fact that, right, that human might have said certain statements from their religion or something else of some group, whatever they belong to, and then killed someone of a different group. You should see that because they actually want you to think, right, that was their intention. That is, it's what their religion taught them, or it's a hatred they have from the background they have. They want to obviously attach it to that religion or that group or whatever, even though they're just one individual and they're only responsible for themselves. And you cannot put them as a representative for that group or religion. That's unfair to those humans who didn't come and stab you. But that's the intention of this criminal. That's the intention of the devil that sent them. So the solution is to see the intention. They want some type of uproar or violence and extreme rage to come from the human beings that are the group of whoever was abused or attacked, such as this bishop. If he's a Christian, for example, then they're going to hope that Christians and get their guns out and start to try to go to mosques and shoot. You get what I'm saying? They're just trying to, demons are just trying to get you to do crime too. They're trying to get you to kill innocent people too, by trying to make it seem like to your mind that somehow it's justified. It's not justified. You can only give that criminal punishment. You can't go and kill innocent people from his people and act like you did some justice, like somehow you are responding to that situation. No, that situation is gone. Just as someone from your group, if they went to a group over there, killed some of their people or one person, you wouldn't want that group they came from to come to your land or your city or your little place and try to bomb you. Do you see what I'm saying? You have to put yourself in the shoes of the group that you're trying to attack. When you yourself have become sinful and you're acting violent and you're trying to go over there. It could have been the other way around. You're human. You have the right to be angry when one does crime or evil to people. If they're from your people, if they're just a human you saw, and you're just a bystander, that's what God created in you, that natural hatred for evil. Okay, but use that to a good, to a good cause. Especially religious places usually don't deal with crime, so they're just casual. They don't ever observe you. They don't look at you. If you're walking by them, this bishop didn't look up and observe this male that was trying to stab him. Because in his mind, right, that's just not what happens in a church. So he won't have that guardness that you would normally have maybe in other places. So humans just need to always be on guard. They always need to just watch their back. Because a criminal is not going to say, hello, I have a gun. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to walk by casually. They're going to go on their phone and act like they're just distracted. And then they'll get some weapon out. They might say, excuse me, do you know where this place is? As you look back and you're looking for directions to the place, they could just shoot you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's just like crime in the street or in businesses like a mall. Your job as someone from that group who someone among you was, killed or stabbed or beaten or abused in a sort of terror attack is for you to actually attack the enemy that sent that type of individual to you, even if you don't believe in demons. Just sort of the enemy, whatever this evil thing is that God created that makes some human beings turn to darkness and sends them to you like that. You're fighting evil. Evil is your enemy, even if you don't believe in demons and see them as your enemy. At least see evil as your enemy. So create ways to make the environment safe. There should be security. The first thing I always tell God when I see these types of random crimes, right? Human just comes up and stabs people, kills people, shoots people. You get me? No one saw that coming. It's common sense. I always tell God, why don't they just check people's belongings when they're entering that building? You get me? If you're going to enter a church, a mosque, if you're going to enter a mall, people should always, whatever they're carrying, it should be looked into. There should be people at the front just simply asking everyone to put their bags down. The bags are checked, and then they go through. Do you get what I'm saying? The devil, obviously, there's a way to turn that into evil, right? Use that into harassment. But then when that turns into harassment, then you'll just fix it. You'll just make sure they do it in a proper way where people don't get harassed by it. Don't avoid something good like this because you're afraid then those, right, law enforcement or security will harass you. There's far more benefits that you have someone checking people's belongings than the possible potential threat that, right, those employees would use that against the people and actually try to harass them. You can easily just train them differently. You can easily just report them. You can fix that. That's impossible to prevent. It's just evil. You can't prevent it in that sense, but there's some types of evil you can prevent once you've already seen what could happen at a given situation. But the little ways that then the human beings who are supposed to uphold justice, the little ways they tweak it and do bad themselves, that's not something you're supposed to use to then eradicate a system you created to uphold justice. You get me? Keep the system, but just get rid of whatever they did to tweak it and abuse it. You know, just make them stop abusing it, but don't give up the good system. Don't be like, let's get rid of police. No, you need police. Just get rid of the ways you gave them too much power that they could then abuse their job. You get me? Don't get rid of them, because that system of them is good for you. You get me? You want to be logical. The devil takes something that human beings intentionally in history always came up with a good intention. It's supposed to help you. He takes it, makes evil humans take such a job or position or environment. They abuse the power because he wants you to then he comes to you and tells you to be too extreme in solving the problem. He tells you to tell, right, everyone else, let's get rid of this. But it was there for a reason. You can't get rid of it. You need it. You just need to fix the way that those evil humans are using it to abuse the system. You get me? You're not going to get rid of phones because people take people's photos inappropriately. No, you're just going to prevent that behavior by teaching humans to watch, like females who are non-Muslim, who wear skirts and they don't wear long pants, and sometimes they don't even have underwear. You just teach them. This type of threat is out there. You guys don't want to dress modestly. It's easy to take a photo of your legs because this male can act like he's just bending to look at this grocery item in this aisle in a store, but he's actually going to put out his phone directed at you when you're distracted facing that way. You get me? You teach people. You maybe put up a sign in your store to watch out for such behavior where someone's bending or looking weird or strange. And then you tell them to not abuse the system and just accuse or label anyone they see of bending or, right, crouching, etc. with their phone. Don't just accuse everyone of it. Like, you teach humans how to not abuse it. You tell them the signs of a potential criminal conduct. But usually, normal behaviors can sometimes look like that criminal conduct, right? That's what they call it, suspicious. Such as someone with their phone. Okay, there are human beings who are with their phone, okay, pointing it at you, right? Doing something evil, recording you. And they're human beings on their phone, but they're actually recording themselves. Like that, you just tell human beings not to abuse the system. Observe the situation long enough to know they really are recording you, like that. Then you can say to someone, hey. But don't, anytime you see that conduct, think you have the right to abuse the system and just go calling cops and being like, I think that person's recording me. You get me? You teach human beings in your given environment how to not abuse the system of reporting bad behavior. Don't report people who you don't have real evidence are doing the bad behavior because their behavior seems suspicious. When it's not clear enough, you don't say anything. You just observe, you move away, you really try to see what's going on. You don't just say to that male as a female, are you recording me? You don't do that. You actually take enough time to see if that's true. And the average human usually does that. Only evil humans abuse the system. That's what I'm saying. Just hold them accountable. You cannot prevent them abusing the system. Just create smart ways to prevent them from abusing the system. Just like you created smart ways to even create a system in the first place to uphold justice of some kind. So the devil wants to slowly, right, connect some hateful belief in a group or maybe their religion. Some religions, they don't actually tell you, right, that they should go kill anyone or hurt anyone based on a different religion or anything. And some religions actually do. You get me? Some are accused of it. Their books don't say that. And some their books say it. But the people who follow the religion, that doesn't mean they agree with that. You don't know personally what everyone in that religion agrees with, do you? So if there's evil books in Islam that make it seem like it's okay to go kill non-Muslims, that doesn't mean that every Muslim on the face of the earth read it and said, okay. You get me? I'm a Muslim. I'm not okay with that. So you cannot be unjust to me and put a whole religious group together, because then you're accusing innocent people like me of agreeing with a book that I get angry when I see it. You get me? Same way you would get angry. Same way your books, your religions, right? There could also be some scriptures or verses or words that also say the same thing about Muslims maybe or others. And now I could see that about you. You get me? As a human race, you're all gonna always be in the same situation. Whatever evil could be done to you, you could also one day be in a position where you could do that to others, because evil is a choice. So don't do it to others what you don't want them to do to you. You don't have the right to do evil to others based on what one individual did to your group. And that's actually what that individual wanted. You're giving them power. When they're, for example, Muslim, and they come to a church and kill someone, they wanted you to go and kill their innocent people for something only they did, one individual. They want to hurt their own people. They hate their own people. Okay? They don't just hate you. If a Christian or Jew went to Muslims or vice versa, and they attacked someone who's Muslim, that is not a real Christian or Jew. They wanted, they wanted to hurt your people, yes, but they also hate their own. So don't attach them to that group anyway. And don't attach, right, the scriptures or anything like that to everyone in that religion, because that doesn't mean they follow the scriptures. People could just always follow the basics of a religion, like just the fact that they believe in one God. But that doesn't mean they believe in the evil in their books. Because every religion has evil in it, including the real religion of God Almighty, which is Islam. It has perversion, sexism, all that nonsense. The average Muslim is okay with that. You get me? But that doesn't mean then God gave you permission to go beat them up because they believe in such evil things. You get me? No, God would only give you permission to punish someone for things they've actually done. You get me? What they hold in their heart is too risky for you to be like, I know they believe in this, so let's just go kill them. Well, that's crazy. There's a lot of evil humans walking around this earth. You don't go trying to figure out what's in their heart and thinking you should kill them. You don't think that's just enough, right? 5 seconds later, they could become moral and not be evil anymore. And you'll never know because you don't know what's in their heart. So what I'm saying is you're a species. You're not dominant over each other. You're not God over each other. So you don't have the right to punish each other for things that one is putting into their heart. You get me? You can only punish each other for things that one actually did. Okay, so don't go after a group or hate them because this one crazy lunatic stabbed some of your people. But you have the right to come out and be angry and express your rage that you're not okay with that group targeting you after that, because right, it becomes a pattern if you don't say anything. That was one individual, yes, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that group should not be put into the mix. We all know that because we're human. That's unjust. But you're human. You also know the other members of that group who are just like that individual will come out and act like it's okay to keep doing that crime to your people, correct? Like that. So that's what you should be trying to prevent by expressing yourself. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to come outside maybe and say, no, this is not okay. But don't become violent yourself. Don't create a hostile situation for others and act like you're a good person. Good people don't intimidate others. They don't bully others just to show you that what you're doing is wrong. They just simply tell you what you're doing is not going to happen again. They're very assertive and strong that way. Understand the enemy wants that reaction because it's just more bloodshed. It's just more excuses to cause death. So you're probably not going to go kill someone or hurt someone, I know. But at least understand that feeling in your heart. Don't let that at least enter your heart of feeling hatred or envy towards a group because of what individuals of that group who are like to associate themselves to that group did. You know what I mean? That's their individual conduct. Just like everyday humans who go to jail, prison. No one connects their crime to their race or ethnicity, right? But this one where someone might shout something or connect maybe their crime to their faith or whatever. That's the one that's trying to flip that and make some human beings become illogical and do something humans don't do, connecting a whole group to them. We always just separate the human. We just say that one was the problem. But in this situation, they hope you fail to do this because it makes you so angry. They hope that then you really do slowly start to say, their religion is the problem. So you get me? Their religion can have evil in it, right? There's only one correct religion since there's only one God. So others are always going to be a problem. They're all false. But God gave them free will to worship him or not. So you don't have the right to, you get me, hurt them or anything because they don't come to your religion, whether yours is false or true. You get me? Because they're equal to you. You're not superior than each other as human beings. So you don't have that right. Just know what the devil wants is slowly to teach you to think your natural desire to be righteous, right? To be just, to hold that evil criminal accountable for sort of targeting your group. Like maybe they came to a church and you feel targeted as a group, then you don't think it was just, right, just a criminal stabbing a stranger. Because they did it in an environment that doesn't seem like that. It seems like they would then target your people more, and others like him would do that if something big doesn't happen to prevent it. You're right. That is the intention. So then come up with smart ways to prevent such an intention, such as creating ways where you are as a group speaking up and saying, we're not going to tolerate you over there, that group over there, you targeting us with terror. You're not gonna scare us and make us uncomfortable. You get me? You speak up to the whole group and to the individual. You're not accusing the innocent ones in that group. You're just saying, we don't want more criminals coming out of your group who will terrorize us like that. Now the other ones who are watching that and wanted to get another knife and also repeat that incident, now they're gonna be scared. You get me? You have to speak to the group so the others who are capable of that evil know that they're being spoken to. If you just go after the criminal, just arrest him, others are plotting. Do you agree? They hate their own group. They're trying to defame them and put their life in danger because people might try to kill the group now. See them as the enemy. Don't see people who haven't done anything as an enemy. See anyone like that who's hiding somewhere, hasn't done it yet, as your enemy, but you're not going to look for them, you get me, because they haven't done anything yet. You don't have the right to punish them. And always, as a human being, you should always pray when these things happen, that God actually helps you against this evil that's coming upon you, that's trying to create some sort of problem between you and another group, because that's not a cool thing. Anytime it's group versus group, war and all that stuff is possible. You don't want that nonsense. You want to just live your life, go have your typical day. You don't want to lose your life. So don't let anger control you is what I'm saying. Don't let anger, which is a normal feeling God put in you because you saw something evil. The fact that you hate it so much is a good thing. Don't let evil enter you. And now you start to act crazy to people. Then why were you angry then? You were angry because you didn't like that behavior. Why would you do it? Your desire to want to punish humans who are that evil and violent should not turn into you trying to control that group because they're human. You don't have the right to control each other. You can only control predators, those who try to do bad things to others, harmful individuals who actually have weapons and stuff. That's the one God gives you the right to control them that moment. You get me? But not that just regular group living in their city, minding their business. They didn't agree with him. They didn't sign a petition with him. Yes, this stuff is common sense to you. Don't put a whole group together for a crime one individual did. Yeah, But I'm saying you have to come up with a way where you speak up against that terror. You're not supposed to be silent. Otherwise, others just like that will continue to, come up and pop up like that. But at the same time, you make sure you actually work with that group. The ones who think just like you, who could never do it. Work with them to actually create more safety. Go against the devil. Instead of fighting each other, hating each other, actually come together and go against the criminals within your own groups. You see how smart that is? You're separating yourself from the criminals. You guys who are similar, who are decent and would never hurt anyone, you come together. You create more safety. That's what you're supposed to do. Then the evil ones, right, who would have harmed others, now they're going to be intimidated by that love. Get it? Because evil comes from hatred. And now the devil is scared. The two groups who were supposed to fight and kill each other and go to protest and beat each other and stab each other, they actually holding hands and saying to each other, that one individual is not gonna create a rift between us. That love is the solution to hatred. Take care of yourself.